Thanks for joining us on this edition of National Focus. I'm Jarna Hector. In the headlines, we take an inside look at the Youth Division Skills Training Program, the Climate Investment Fund tackles climate change, and the Ministry of Health launches its first infection prevention and control manual. Details of our headline stories and more after this.
Did you know the Caribbean Court of Justice is two courts in one? The CCJ has two functions: an original jurisdiction, which deals with your right to move between CARICOM countries freely and your right to move your money and your business. This is the basis of the CARICOM Single Market and Economy, CSME, and the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas, and an appellate jurisdiction to hear appeals from courts of those countries which decide to use it as their final court of appeal and no longer go to the Privy Council. All CARICOM member states who have signed the agreement establishing the CCJ are members of the CCJ.
Thanks for staying with us. Locally grown onions are in high demand, and the crop is a good diversification option for farmers. These are the impressions of local onion farmers. On Wednesday, the Horticulture Support Program of the Ministry of Agriculture took a tour of 3 farms to determine the progress and productivity of onion growers. Hilborn Alfred is a farmer in the Northeast region. Alfred, a retiree, has been growing onions since 2002. He says he cannot meet the high demand.
Onion production is very important to us in the Northeast, and it's a very popular crop. Most of the people enjoy the onion because the flavor is much different from those who import. Number one, those who import, when they're preparing the meals, they do burn their eyes and sometimes do burn them out. And when we do the local ones, it doesn't do them that. So it's very popular. Most during the year, people are asking for the local onions. We have to tell them it's until November we're starting to produce the onions. I sell my onions in Marigot, in the vicinity of Marigot, and we sell them at $3 a pound. $3 a pound. And sometimes you haven't got enough. You haven't got enough to sell, to supply the market, because it's very popular.
And so Alfred is looking to increase production. He has 22 beds of the crop, and being experienced, he can yield large, medium, and small onions. It's all about the techniques employed, he says. He is currently helping farmers in his area to be as successful as he has been over the years.
In me moving around, I have to be advising people how to weed, how to water, how to irrigate, and at certain stages of the plant, you have to know when to give a lot of water, you have to know when to cut back on your water. So it's a very technical crop, and the farmers need a lot of technical advice, especially on sowing, on thinning out, on watering, and most important of all, on fertilizing.
Adrian Banis of Marigot, on the other hand, has little experience in growing onions. Although he's not entirely new to it, he wanted to get on board, and with the help of the Ministry of Agriculture, he's well on his way. He's hoping to expand to meet the high demand.
I really want to increase production. That's why we're just using that as a pilot project to see how it's going to come out. And I think it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. You have to take time out to, after you sow the seeds, to come in and feed it out and do some transplanting. But I think it's going to worth it in the end.
And in the Carib territory, one farmer is very enthusiastic about this new venture. Nazarius Frederick says he saw the production of onions in Barbados for the first time and became interested. With the help of the Ministry of Agriculture, he was able to start his own onion farm.
The little knowledge I had about it is just to prepare the land, but I have no knowledge of how to take care of the plants itself. But when I saw how they prepared the land in Barbados, and my extension officer told me about they have an onion project coming up in the Carib territory, on the entire island, but they wanted to start off in the Carib territory. So I tell him, well, right ahead, I wouldn't mind trying it, you know.
Frederick says getting into production is not a costly venture. He encourages Dominican farmers to invest in producing onions.
There is opportunity for producing onions on the entire island, because, as you know, we are importing onions. And if we can do well planting our onions and getting our local market to buy it, like our supermarkets and other buyers locally, there is a potential in going into the onion production.
The Ministry of Agriculture, through the Horticulture Support Program, provides seedlings, equipment, and the technical knowledge to assist farmers to grow onions as a diversification crop on the island. In more news, the Roseau City Council is leaning towards implementing a more robust system for the collection of property taxes in the city. Non-compliance to the payment of municipality taxes has been an issue for the council for some time. City Mayor, Her Worship Irene John, says her council intends to take tax collection more seriously.
If you cannot pay all of it, come in and we can always arrange payment, as to how you can pay. But the idea of just not paying, just ignoring the situation, it is just not good enough, So we have to pursue that matter vigorously to make sure that we can recover all the monies that we have out there.
She believes more efficiency in tax collection will allow the council to accomplish more.
Because it is true that you can go and ask funding agencies or persons to help you, but they will ask you, what is your method of collection? Are you collecting the money? How much money do you have out there? Are you collecting the money out there? Your stuff you cannot answer. You understand? So, how can you get help from persons out there if you are not helping yourself? So we have to first pursue the idea of going out there and insist that persons pay their taxes, so we'll have enough money, sufficient money, to do all the things that persons are asking us to do all day.
The mayor says while persons are reluctant to comply, mainly because they expect a direct service in return, paying taxes is mandatory by law. Currently, legal action against non-compliant property owners is a last resort. City Overseer Thomas Baptiste laments that Dominica is the OECS country with the lowest property tax rates, an average of $150 per year. Mayor John is hoping that when more efficient measures are implemented, the council will yield better results. For more than 2 decades, the Youth Development Division has tirelessly sought to provide Dominica's youth with skills to make them more valuable to the working world. GIS's Kadisha St. Louis brings us a special feature on the Youth Skills Training Program.
For more than 30 years, the Youth Development Division has been equipping the youth of Dominica with the necessary skills required for the world of work through the Youth Skills Training Program. The program was initiated in 1982 to address unemployment and mass migration, which was a result of Hurricane David, which occurred in 1979. Now, 36 years later, the Youth Development Division boasts of having trained a significant number of youth. Bernard Bontiff, an instructor trainer at the Youth Division's Youth Skills Training Program, says that this program provides both technical and social skills to Dominican youth.
We have been involved in the whole business of training young people and preparing them for the world of work, and not just prepare them technically with a skill, but to prepare them as well in terms of their social development. So our young people have been benefiting from the program immensely, and we can boast of having trained over 10,000 young people in the space of, 33 years. So it's a very successful program.
GIS News took a tour of one of the computer skills training facilities. Participant Yohan Lucky believes that the training is important for anyone interested in computers.
Well, right now, in the growing marketing, it has a lot more jobs growing in computer sciences right now. And this could help a lot of us get better in that, better equipped for those jobs that are going to be in place.
For Mauricia Moranci, the program is all about preparing herself for the job market.
It would be very useful for me, very helpful in as much as I can get a job, be computer literate.
Instructor Christian Peter, a graduate of the Youth Skills Training Program, has been imparting her acquired knowledge to Dominican youth for the past 10 years.
They come back and they tell us how they have helped them in preparing them for the world of work. It's always good to have a skill. and I'm talking from experience. The computer skill have helped me a lot. And not only computer skills, the youth division offer the other skills too, along with social skills, family skills, business skills. It helps you a lot in your upbringing and preparing you for the world of work.
Another program offered by the youth division is electrical wiring. Keisha Bruno is the sole female participant in that component for this year. She was happy to challenge herself in a male-dominated class and encourages other women to break the norm.
Women tend to be like, they think that they are office type, and I rather be working with guys. It helped me build my self-esteem and also confidence. It's like not really a male thing. It can go both female and male.
This year, young people will also get the opportunity to acquire skills in woodworking. Bontif says the division assists graduates of the program to obtain jobs.
We are able to also liaise with the public and private sector to find out what is the possibility for employment for these young people after they are trained. So as a result of that, we're able to get into a particular training program that we offer to the young people. And our programs go from woodwork to carpentry to masonry to tiling, you just name it. They're what we call the traditional skills. As well as since 1997, we have been offering computer skills because, as I said, we have to go with the job market, what it is demanding.
Leslie Irish and Ezekiel Lee are currently on attachment at R&C Auto in Canefield. Both say that they are pleased to be working in a field that interests them, and Lee states that having a skill is invaluable.
These days now, you need education, you need a skill to survive outside here.
As seen by the active participation of the youth in these skills training programs, the Youth Division and the Government of Dominica are playing an active role in educating and providing Dominican youth with the tools for a successful future. Reporting for GIS News, I'm Kadisha Sentry.
Thanks, Kadisha, for that report. You're watching National Focus. Still to come, the Climate Investment Fund tackles climate change head-on, the Caribbean Public Health Agency takes on major public health issues, and medical practitioners now better equipped to prevent the spread of infections at healthcare facilities.
Wash your hands. I am Adora Tuse, health educator from the Ministry of Health. Proper hand washing protects against the spread of many common illnesses and germs. Wash your hands often with soap and water, or you may use a hand sanitizer. Remember, clean hands save lives. Protect yourself.
A message from the Health Promotion of the Ministry of Health.
Welcome back. The Climate Investment Fund is taking a programmatic approach to tackling climate change. The $8.1 billion fund was developed in 2008. $1.3 billion of that fund was allocated to the pilot program for climate resilience to support 18 countries worldwide in their efforts to combat issues of climate change. Senior climate change specialist from the World Bank Group, Arati Bell, says the approach is sound.
So the idea was to have a program that would support transformative investments, move away from small projects that address one particular risk or one particular impact, and move towards transformational investments. The second principle is to have a programmatic framework approach, and the idea was to build through countries' national development planning priorities, like we're doing here with the SPCR, and to work with planned and current initiatives in the country, such as the DVRP, and sort of build climate resilience and climate change mitigation into these kinds of activities across the world.
A consultation was held on Monday to review, update, and prioritize Dominica's strategic program for climate resilience.
Every year there is an annual monitoring and report due to the climate investment funds. They have a results framework with 5 core indicators.
The programmatic approach to climate resilience is country-led and comprehensive. It is being adopted by other countries, including Belize and 25 countries of the International Development Association, or IDA. The IDA is part of the World Bank Group, which helps the world's poorest countries by providing loans and grants for programs that boost economic growth, reduce inequality, and improve living conditions. In more news, waste haulers are being educated on proper waste disposal techniques in the city of Roseau. A waste haulers workshop is being organized by the Dominica Solid Waste Management Corporation for over 30 haulers. General Jacob is Public Relations Officer of the corporation.
The Dominica Solid Waste Management Act 1 of 2002 speaks to that those people should be licensed, and they have a license. Most of them are licensed. We have about 30 plus of them, and they have been licensed by instrument by the Minister of Health, and they're allowed to transport waste for businesses around Roseau and Dominica to the landfill. But that workshop will really tell them and inform them of the guidelines that they should follow in case, for example, of a spillage of waste in the environment, and their responsibility as that important stakeholder in cleaning waste, and their responsibility in ensuring that the lives and risks posed to the public is.
The workshop will take place on Monday, March 23rd at the Dominica Red Cross building from 9 a.m. The Caribbean Public Health Agency, CARPHA, is working to address the most prominent health issues within public health in the Caribbean. At a recent executive board meeting held by heads of CARPHA, several of these problem areas were discussed, including local management of diseases. Executive Director of CARPHA, Dr. C. James Hospitalis, explained that collaboration among all sectors is critical in the management of diseases affecting the region, such as chikungunya and dengue.
The meeting recognized that it really is not just government alone, it's not just people alone. There needs to be working together of different sectors: education, health, tourism, local government, private enterprise, and families to have a chance in the face of chikungunya and dengue.
The heads of the agency also discussed CARICOM's 10-point plan of action on Ebola. The plan will present a practical response to suspected cases within 24 hours of notification.
The meeting also considered progress with the CARICOM 10-point plan of action on Ebola, including strengthening measures at ports of entry and strengthening health systems. In the last few months, there's been a lot of strengthening of laboratory capacity, the ability to safely ship specimens, and on biosafety surrounding that.
A regional coordination mechanism for Ebola will form part of the 10-point plan.
There has been the establishment of what's called a regional coordination mechanism for Ebola, with CARPHA as the chair, and that includes the OECS Secretariat, CARICOM, SEDIMA, the Disaster Emergency Management Agency, Pan American Health. It includes Cuba, and the IMPACTS, that's the Crime and Security Agency. And the board meeting received a report on how all those agencies are working together to strengthen the regional response.
Other matters discussed included the HIV/AIDS agenda in the region, healthier food environments, the implementation of a cancer registry hub, environmental health and climate change, and plans to address the excessive use of alcohol within the region. And on Tuesday, the first health manual outlining pertinent health requirements for an effective infection prevention control program was officially launched. The manual, a result of collaboration between Dominica's Ministry of Health, the Pan American Health Organization PAHO, and the European Union, aims to minimize effects, complications, and loss of life that may be incurred by patients during treatment. Infection Control Officer Joanna Laura Blaise considers the intervention timely, as healthcare providers in Dominica seek to prevent infection in healthcare settings, a growing global phenomenon.
With the emergence of infectious diseases such as Ebola, which poses a great threat to small population country as ours, I must say that the launching of the manual is indeed timely. The prevention of infection in healthcare setting remains a key goal for all healthcare professionals. Healthcare establishment also has a need to continually improve the quality care delivered and must ensure a safe working environment. Healthcare-associated infection lengthens patient stay, hospital stays, and increase both mortality and morbidity rates. In addition, diagnosing and treating this infection is costly. The process and placing intense pressure on the limited healthcare resources.
Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Helen Roye, noted that the manual is significant to small island developing states like Dominica.
According to the World Health Organization, every year, more than 1.4 million people throughout the world suffer from healthcare-associated infections. It is also estimated that between 5 to 10% of patients admitted to modern hospitals in developed countries acquire one or more infections. 15 to 40% of those admitted to critical care are affected. More than half of these infections could be prevented by caregivers properly cleaning their hands at key moments in patient care. Unfortunately, the risk is 2 to 20 times higher in developing than in developed countries. Importantly, no healthcare setting, no hospital, no country in the world can claim to have solved the problem in entirety.
The manual contains policies and procedures for prevention, control, and guidelines for cleaning, disinfecting, and sterilizing healthcare facilities in Dominica. A copy of the manual in CD form was presented to the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Health, Helen Roye, the Chief Medical Officer in absentia, Acting Director of Primary Healthcare, Dr. Charlotte Jeremy, among other medical professionals. The manual has been reviewed to meet international standards and will serve as a framework to provide direction and information at all healthcare facilities across the island. And that's the English news. McPherson St. Luce is next with the Creole highlights.
Allô tout le monde, bienvenue à cette nouvelle en créole. Non moins c'est McPherson St. Luce. Premièrement, ça fait qu'à concerner jardin backyard gardening, qui tape attention en bas programme agricole pour un casse brousse. Parole celle-là sortie de même parlement, Honorable Johnson Drago.
Nous les montrer en casse brousse à le programme backyard gardening. Parce que il y a ces gens qui n'y terre à la couille qui vide. Et puis, moi, les gens qui vivent planter toute terre qui vide à la couille. Esprit, légumes, et puis, pareil qu'on prend à gol, avant tout le monde donner des petits plants à gol à couille. Moi, les planter, yam là, une espèce, parce que ça fait la place pour du Dominique qui continue. So, moi, les mener tout le monde ensemble, comme vous savez, ces Chinese là, ni facilité greenhouse. Contents, you can establish your greenhouse casseroles and you pouvez plant légumes dans mon whole constituency casseroles. You te la semaine passée nous taper terre, mais j'avoue on let ba moi regarder moi qui tout mature pas oui pour nous amener casseroles pour nous establish greenhouse ça pour nous produce plant légumes dans mon casseroles pour petit souffler.
Un d'autres nouvelles, on network pour faire et puis data qui concerne ça fait temps là, quand taper attention en bas un programme pilote pour Dominique. Projet ça là qui tombé en bas implémentation 38 millions de dollars banque latini pour mitigation des astres qui yo financier. Network ça là qui a masse information qui l'occasion météorologique. On contract signé pour Fred Ogden, Wyoming University. Pour conduire le programme là pour la Dominique, quand même si l'on officier PPCR Colin Gist, network ça là qui ni habilité là pour positionner Dominique, bar report tant là bien effectivement. Plaisir officier banque latin et puis stakeholders ici, joignent pendant une consultation mardi pour discuter le programme là pour la Dominique. Monsieur Ogden qui en Dominique semaine prochaine pour présenter report li. Anot nouvel, management Solid Waste Dominica tient un workshop pour moun qui a transporté son dis par l'occasion place business Wouzo pour aller landfill là. Parole ça là sur officier relations publiques M. Jeno Jacob.
Lundi le 23 mars, dans les salles, nous avons un grand workshop et puis moun qui a chaye des hot business en Ozo, ou en Dominique pour mener en landfill là. Et puis c'est moun qui est important pour Solid Waste parce que ça veut faire que aider nous pour nettoyer Dominique, pour changer Dominique net et puis propre parce que Solid Waste pas autrefois pas assez voiture pour faire ça. Comme ça nous avons regardé comme moun qui est important, stakeholders qui est anglais qui est important pour faire certains qui pays à Westnet et puis propre. Mais en Solid Waste Management Act là, ça c'est loi qui a gouverné Solid Waste. Il a dit que c'est moun ça là supposé une licence pour ça changer ordres ou de yon place yon business pour mener en landfill là. Raison c'est si you ka changer chimique par exemple et puis chemical ça chimique ça tomber en laouia en live et puis il prisonnier moun et puis il dommager moun dommager voiture moun ça ils ont dommager voiture moun il dommager moun yo c'est moun ça ni une responsabilité pour payer pour dommage ça là.
Jacob fait parole que moun ni une responsabilité pour manager zodis si l'on loi qui gouverne ça.
A dit qu'il y a une responsabilité pour payer pour dommage là si vous avez chaye zodis kon yon business. Et nous avons des guidelines en Solid Waste Management Act qui a gouverné manière supposé chaye zodis là. Il a dit que voiture supposé une voiture qui est en bonne condition, quand autant fois vous chaye zodis en vieille voiture qui a tombé, qui croisé, vous comprenez? Ça pas un bon butin, une voiture et puis zodis a pas ça derrière sur voiture. A dit qu'il est supposé une voiture qui est en bonne condition et puis il est supposé une assurance, ça c'est insurance. Pour faire certain que si zodis tombé en environnement, il y a une responsabilité pour nettoyer.
Finalement, président State College Dominique Dr. Donald Peters a supporté l'effort gouvernement pour établir l'occasion ICT en State College Dominique. Dr. Peters fait parole ça pendant la cérémonie pour signer un contrat pour voir le travail commencer en vieille l'occasion State College où la centre ça qui est établi. Dr. Peters dit les centres là qui est opération et qui fait provision pour plus courses yo ka offert en institution là. Dr. Peters a complimenté le gouvernement pour bâtir centre là en vieille l'occasion State College. Centre ça là qui offert courses qui bien nécessaire en latte moderne ça là. Il aussi fait parole, ça c'est Dr. Peters, qui Dominica State College qui est bien avancé en affaires ICT. Peters aussi a fait parole, commitment State College Dominique pour développement national. Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelles en créole pour à présent. Non moins c'est McPherson, St. Luce. Au revoir.
Coming up next, is it a good idea to drink as much juice as water? You may be wondering if water is the only beverage you can have to meet your daily fluid quota. Well, according to livestrong.com, while water should make up the majority of your daily beverage consumption, a glass of 100% fruit juice can be part of a nutritious diet. However, it is not a good idea to drink more than one in one day. As long as you opt for 100% fruit juice with no added sweeteners, one glass each day can count towards your daily recommendation of fruit. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website news.gov.dm. Like our Facebook page, facebook.com/GIS News Dominica, and follow our Twitter at GIS Dominica. You can also catch up on past National Focus newscasts on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. From all of us here on the GIS News production team, I'm Jarna Hector. Thanks for watching and join us again next time on National Focus.